Now, yesterday on Focus on Africa, we brought you an interview with Kenya's Vice President, William Ruto, who is also one of the candidates in next month's presidential elections. Mr. Ruto, though, does not have the support of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Instead, Mr. Kenyatta has given his backing to the main opposition leader, Raila Odinga. The BBC's Anne Soy sat down with Mr. Odinga and began by asking him how he plans to deal with the country's huge debt burden.
What we will do is to try to see if we can restructure some of these external debts, which means that you convert some commercial loans into bilateral and multilateral loans, long-term, low-interest loans.
But as you plan to do that, are you satisfied with the way that money was used? I remember you were very critical of the Eurobond, for example, and talking corruption. Even the president himself has admitted to losing upwards of $16 million per day to corruption.
No, I'm not satisfied. But we're now dealing with the past. So we are just going to do a post-mortem because the patient is already dead. But we will, of course, investigate some of these debts and see if they were properly utilized or who was responsible.
How will you deal with corruption?
We will first take measures to prevent corruption from taking place. So everything that goes into the budget will be properly interrogated. Then we are going to be watching the awards of contracts in the budget.
When you were in government, your office, the office of the Prime Minister, was investigated over some corruption scandals.
Although the name of the office of the Prime Minister was mentioned that it was under investigations, but there's no evidence that anybody in the office of the Prime Minister did any wrong. But it was because the money was never coming to the office of the Prime Minister. My office was basically supervising the work of the line ministries which were implementing different projects. So it was not in my ministry, my office.
Well, the buck stops with the top office, doesn't it?
Which is right. And I'm saying, therefore, we did not deny. But there was no officer who was actually found culpable in the office of the Prime Minister.
Can Kenyans put their faith in you to deal with corruption?
Certainly. Kenyans know that I stand very strong against corruption. They know that I cannot be corrupted.
Well, you have been working with him, with the current president, over the last couple of years. But in his first term, you were a very strong critic, and you exposed quite a number of corruption scandals or allegations of corruption scandals, some of which touched on his family. But then that disappeared after you shook hands and agreed to work with him. What happened?
I don't think that it disappeared. I think that it did not happen. But you see, I've not been working with the government. I have only been advising from the outside.
The outgoing president, will he have a role in your government?
Yeah, he can be an advisor. He can, he can work with the government and support the government in some of the things that they're doing, particularly internationally.
I ask that because he is the chairman of your coalition. So will he play an active role in your government?
No, he will not play any role in government. He himself said he is retiring and is going home.
Well, he said recently that he's not going anywhere.
He's not leaving the country. This I think is what he meant.
Thank you very much, former Prime Minister.
Thank you.
That's Kenyan presidential candidate Raila Odinga there, and we hope to hear from yet another candidate later this week.